Good evening, everyone. My name is Paul Young. I'm going to walk you through why do companies fail in business or end up going bankrupt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through my bio, market analysis, what a scratch start is, cash flow, 4 P's of marketing, and subsidies. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a professional accountant by trade, so I've been working in business for a better part of 25 years. 8+ years in academia, 11 years in financial solutions, so I kind of understand what it takes to compete in a forever global marketplace. So what this presentation is to do is give you a quick understanding of what you need to think about when you're trying to start a business, why business succeed or fail. The biggest mistake businesses make is not understanding a market analysis. What that market analysis is understanding where you're going to place your product in terms of demographic, geographic segments, and market segments. That's critical in terms of when you're starting to look at starting up a business, because when you start to look at things, you have to understand who your target audience is in terms of a demographic, whether it's a 15 to 19 range, 22 to 30, 40 to 50 range. You need to understand the makeup of that population. You also need to understand geographically how that market is distributed within a country, a province, state, etc. You need to understand that. Market segment, what segment are you talking? Are you aerospace? Are you talking electronics? Are you talking food? You need to understand that as part of what you're going at. Now, normally what happens with a startup, you become what's called a scratch start. You're starting from fresh up, which means is you require entry capital. That can be anywhere $10,000 to $100,000 depending on what you do. Now, I'm not going to get into about the idea of franchisees versus not getting into a franchise. This is more about, I'm going to do a business, how do I operate? Usually in the first 2 to 3 years you're going to run losses, so you're going to have deep pockets in the cash flow to manage those losses as part of doing the business. That's just the wherewithal when it comes to it. You're also going to see excessive hours as part of a scratch start, because nothing happens in this world unless you put a lot of hours into things to build that customer relationship up to help develop that business. Now, you're going to hear the term all the time. A lot of you have taken marketing courses in university or college. You're going to hear the 4 P's of marketing: price, product, placement, and promotion. Price means as you're looking at the price of your product, you have to make money at that. But you also have to look at the entry point of that price within that market. So are you price competitive with what your competitors are doing? You have to be cognizant of that. Product. How good is your product quality? Okay, is it strong? Product acceptance. Are the customers going to accept it? Now, a lot of cases companies fail is when they try to do a next generation of product that has a lot of flaws that their customers are not willing to accept. That's huge costs that come into play because you're starting to look at R&D cost. When you look at R&D cost, that's huge cost that you're paying money up front before a product even gets to market. That's critical. Again, that's part of that entry capital. But if you're already an existing company, you're going to have that money you have to spend. So if you make a product that's not acceptable, then guess what happens? You're going to have a hard time going to market and to market that product. Okay, that's critical. And that's critical to understand that. Okay, because companies fail to succeed when they've got poor product quality and poor product acceptance. Placement. How are you going to market? How are you distributing that product and selling it to the end user consumer? So that's critical, and especially nowadays when 20% of retail sales are now e-commerce. So it's very critical to understand that. So when you start hearing about multi-level marketing channels, they don't work anymore. And I'll tell you why they don't work. Because in those days, we used to be able to handle things in the lower geographic area, but you didn't have the pressure point of sites like Amazon. So you need to be cognizant of that. Promotion. Is your name brand recognition? Okay. Do you have your brands already recognized in the market? If you do not have that, that's very critical, because that's going to determine how people are going to accept your products back to product quality, product acceptance. So you need to really understand when you're looking at that of what's going to happen. I mentioned subsidies. A lot of cases companies get some grants or innovation funds, and there's money available by government, what we call is infusion of capital. Subsidies are a way to help you get started, to provide you that seed capital. But subsidies are also dangerous. because if your business isn't profitable, subsidizing a business is not profitable, doesn't help a business overall. It has to be able to stand on its own 2 feet without the subsidies. So that's another critical thing you need to understand. So as a business owner, you have to really take a hard look at what you're trying to accomplish, look at what you want to do, and find out what's the best options for you. But it's very critical to manage the whole life cycle of what you're trying to do from start to finish. Thank you.